There is one insidious habit that is blocking your manifestation, that is keeping you stuck in the repetitive cycles of your life. And in this video, you are going to identify exactly what this one habit is so that you can let go of it, so that you can raise your vibration consistently and create a life that you love. Okay, now my first exposure to the law of attraction, to manifestation, was through the movie called The Secret. You have probably seen it, you have probably heard about it, and through my immature understanding about the nature of reality at the time, I thought that just by changing my thoughts, I could change my life. And of course, that is definitely an important aspect of self-transformation. But thoughts are really one aspect of your entire vibration, and there are different aspects that come together. And if we don't understand the one habit that is blocking these different aspects, we will continue to remain stuck where we are. Okay, now the first point to understand is that thoughts become things, right? Your thoughts become things. Now, this is probably not something that is new to you, but it's really important to understand that your perspective creates your reality, right? Again, this is not something that's new to you, this is not something that's groundbreaking, but let's just take a step back to understand how our perception of reality was actually shaped, right, for the large amount of people living on this planet today. So there was a philosopher named Rene Descartes, okay, and he was a proponent of the mechanistic model of the universe. He's the one who said that I think, therefore I am. And in Rene Descartes' model of how he thought the universe functions, he believed that energy and matter were separate, right? He thought that matter was matter and that thought was outside the realm of intellectual understanding, and therefore matter and the physical universe was in the domain of science and thought was in the domain of religion. And that was really the first separation between thought and our reality, right? It said that reality is over here and my thought is over here, and the two things are actually separate. And then after Rene Descartes, there was Isaac Newton, who was also a proponent of the mechanistic model of the universe. He created his laws of physics, right? The laws of motion, the laws of thermodynamics, and according to his model of the universe, it functions based on predictable laws that we as humans have very little impact over, right? So this whole model of classical physics, of mechanistic model of the universe, actually made people think and believe and programmed into our frame of reality that we as conscious observers have very little impact on the way that the physical world is. And now you might realize that, okay, maybe I didn't understand it to this point, but the large amount of people living on this planet today have been conditioned into this victim mentality, okay? And this has been programmed into the masses because when we think that we do not have an impact on the way that the physical world is shaping, then we don't actually exert the will to go and change it, right? This whole dilemma that so many people are stuck in, right? The victim mentality, thinking that there is no impact that we can exert on our experience of life, keeps people stuck in the cycle of of complaining, of blaming, of making excuses, right? And when they do this, they actually give up their power to create their life anew, right? Even if you understand this model intellectually, you're like, yeah, I know that my thoughts create my reality, but it's important to have an awareness of the constant thoughts that are in your mind, because so many of our thoughts in our mind are not even our own. They have been planted from the programming of society, from the conditioning of parents, from all of these external stimulus that may not actually have our best interests at heart, okay? Now, after Newton came Einstein, and he said, right, his most famous equation, E is equal to mc squared. Energy is equal to mass times the speed of light squared. Basically saying that energy and mass are not separate, they're actually one and the same, right? And this was when, Rene Descartes separated energy and matter, thought and matter, and Einstein was bringing it back together to explain that they're actually one and the same, right? That's why there is no divide between spirituality and science, And that's why even today there's a debate. Oh, I believe in science, I don't believe in spirituality. Oh, I believe in spirituality, I don't believe in science. But as Dr. Joe Dispenza would say, science is the contemporary language of mysticism, because what Einstein led us down the path towards was that of quantum physics, and the experiment in quantum physics, which really connects the nature of reality with our thoughts itself, is the double slit experiment, which basically showed that our thoughts affect the way that reality is playing out, right? They actually shined a particle of matter, right, which is the electron, through these two slits inside a barrier towards the other side of the barrier. And what they found is that when they observed that electron, it behaved like a particle. But when they did not observe the electron, it behaved like a wave of endless possibilities. Now, in other words, that's basically saying that without a conscious observer, reality exists in a wave of endless possibilities, of infinite possibilities and probabilities, right? Now, what this means for us is that we must start with programming our thoughts to reflect the life that we intend to create, right? That is the paradigm of The Secret as well. But thoughts, like I said, is only one aspect of the entire equation of raising your vibration. And your thoughts are actually one aspect of this one habit that you must break, right? And you will understand towards the end of this video what exactly this habit is, okay? So it starts with your thoughts, right? Your thoughts become your things, and what you think about consistently is what will manifest in your life. But we have to take a step back and observe our thoughts to understand whether they are our own. When we experience self-doubt, when we experience shame, when we experience guilt, when we experience these lower emotions, we have to get an awareness of what thoughts are creating these emotions. And more often than not, these thoughts have been installed and programmed from the outside, right? So it really starts with a thought, and it starts with programming your mind and your thoughts to reflect a future that you intend to experience, right? You cannot hit a target that you do not know exists, right? You can't hit a target that doesn't exist. And that's why it starts with thought, with getting clarity on what your ideal future looks like. Now, the second point to understand is that feeling is the secret, right? Feeling is the secret. This is a book by Neville Goddard as well. He is a teacher, passed away now, but a teacher in this realm of metaphysics and spirituality and science. And it's about understanding that your thoughts create your state of mind, but they combine with your feelings to create a state of being, right? It's not only about what you think, it's about who you are, which comes together with how you feel, okay? Excuse the loud tractor in the background, I hope you don't hear it over there. But when your thoughts are pointing you in one direction and your emotions are pointing you in another direction, that is when there is conflict, right? Like, you intellectually understand that you have to eat healthy, you intellectually understand you have to go to the gym, you intellectually understand everything that you need to be doing in order to create a life that you love, but sometimes we don't feel like it, right? The reason that you bust a nut, even though you know it's not the best thing for you, is because you feel like it, right? The reason that you skip out on the gym, even though you know it's the right thing for you, is because you don't feel like going to the gym. So the key to raising your vibration is to align your thoughts with your emotions. And this is about you first and foremost, thinking about what that ideal future looks like for you, thinking about what experience you want to create in your life, closing your eyes, allowing those thoughts to create the feeling of that experience, okay? It's so critical that you understand this, because your thoughts are sending out an electric signal to this field of infinite potentiality, right? That's what quantum physics tells us. Whether you want to call it this infinite field of potentialities, whether you want to call it the quantum field, it's been called the Akashic Records, it's been called the alternative space. There is this field that connects everything in this universe, and it exists in a wave of endless possibilities until an observation is made that actually collapses that wave function and creates the reality that we are experiencing right now, okay? So it's about letting the thought create the emotion so that they are aligned towards that future that you intend to create in your life, okay? So critical that you understand this, because without the feeling, it's just mental masturbation, you know what I'm saying, right? So you need to align the thoughts with the feelings, because when they are in conflict is when your mind and your body is in conflict, and that is when you are inconsistent with who you are being, right? The reason that you are experiencing inconsistent results and progress in your manifestation in your life is because your vibration is in conflict with what you think and how you feel. When you bring them into harmony by thinking about your future, by thinking about what that looks like, and allowing that experience to create the emotions and the feelings that align with that future as well, then we move on to the third aspect, which is that there is no change without behavior change, right? Ultimately, it's about how you can align your thoughts with your emotions, with your behaviors, okay? Because the number one habit that is blocking your manifestation, that is keeping your vibration low, is the habit of being yourself, right? That's what Dr. Joe Dispenza wrote in his I think it was his second book, The Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, right? Who you are is a combination of how you think, how you feel, and how you act, right? And when there is a conflict between these three dimensions, right, between our head, our heart, and our hands, is when there is conflict and inconsistent progress in our lives. So ultimately, it's about thinking about that future, allowing that future that you're thinking about to create the experience of that, to create the emotions of that, to create the feelings of that, and ultimately to take action from that frame of being, from that state of being. Okay, because on the other end of the spectrum, if you start with the behavior and you're like, I feel like shit, I don't have self-worth, I don't have self-respect, I am needy, I feel like I'm not enough, and then you're going and taking action and doing, it's coming to the frame of not being enough, right? Like two people can do the exact same thing. Like you can go up to someone and say, hey, how's it going? Someone else can go up to someone and say, hey, how's it going? The same exact action, the same exact words, but it's through the frame that those words are flowing through that creates the experience that the other person has of you, right? Are you picking up what I'm putting down right now, right? Because it's not about what you do, it is about who you are while you do, right? You can use the exact same sales script as someone else and call someone and have a completely different result just based on who you are being. So it is so critical to start with the thought, to start with understanding that your observation creates your reality, allowing that to align with the emotions, understanding that your thoughts send out an electric signal to this electromagnetic field of infinite potentialities. Your emotions send out a magnetic signal to this infinite field, right? So it's like you send out electric signal, you send out that magnetic signal that draws the events back to you, and ultimately it's about demonstrating your state of being through your behavior, right? It's about changing your identity. It's about breaking the habit of being yourself, because every level requires a new version of yourself, right? Just like a snake sheds its own skin, you have to shed the skin of your old identity to be worthy, capable, and deserving of this new experience that you intend to create for yourself, for this new life that you intend to experience in your reality. Okay, so ultimately it really comes down to those three things: allowing those thoughts to create the experience, the emotions, and the feelings, and allowing that to dictate your behavior so that you are resonating at the frequency of the reality that you intend to create, because you have raised your vibration to reflect that reality as well. Okay, so understand that your manifestations will not come instantly, but they will come if you stay consistent with it, right? Because every behavior that you exhibit is a vote for the person that you are becoming. You are not a human being, you are a human becoming. And if you take conscious control of how you think and how you feel, you take conscious control of your reality. Okay, the mechanistic model of the universe, the Newtonian physics, is all about cause and effect. It says that there are these laws and we are at the effect of those laws. We have very little impact on those laws, and it programs the victim mentality. But what I suggest to you, what I offer to you, is for you to understand that your internal state does not need to be dependent on your external reality. In fact, your internal state creates your external reality. So rather than waiting for something in your external reality to change your internal state, like we do so many times to like change our state by watching the TV, by doing these destructive habits to escape how we feel, we're like we need something from the outside to feel good on the inside. I suggest to you that you change the inside. You become grateful, right? You feel the emotion of gratitude for this future experience right here, right now, right? And then allow that to raise your vibration, to let go of this old habit of being yourself so that you can act in alignment with the reality that you are here to create. Okay, so that is the 3-step process to raise your vibration, to break the number 1 habit, which is being yourself, so that you can create yourself anew. And if you resonate with this content, click the like button, click the subscribe button, because it really helps the channel grow and it really helps get this message out to more people just like you who need to hear this right here, right now. Okay, so leave a comment as well letting me know your number 1 takeaway from this video, and subscribe, like I said, if you have not already, because I release new content just like this every single week. Okay, let your new thoughts lead to the new emotions and lead to the new behavior so that you can raise your vibration and create a life that you love. This has been Saleem here. Much love to you, and I will catch you in the next one.